Welcome to Improve Your English Writing video number 45, where I'm discussing the hyphen. This is part 2 of a two-part series on the hyphen, and I will specifically be covering compound words, which is Rule 45, identifying a compound adjective, which is Rule number 46, and what to do with compound adjectives that are not in the dictionary, which is Rule number 47. If you'd like to get notifications for this series, please click subscribe. If you like the video or think others will find it useful, please hit like. And check out links to videos and books in the description, like a link to the companion volume here. So let's start with rule number 45 in compound words. I say check a dictionary to determine if a compound noun, compound adjective, or compound verb is open, hyphenated, or closed. If the word is not in the dictionary, consult similar entries. So most style guides use the Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. So if you're not too sure if a compound noun, verb, or adjective is open, hyphenated, or closed, first check the dictionary or similar entries and use that dictionary. There's a free online version of the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. So for compound nouns, though, most compound nouns, or maybe I should say, use an open compound noun if it's not listed in the dictionary. That's the recommendation. So some example sentences. I selected African American on the application form. I just want to note that write a compound nationality as an open compound. In the past, these compound nationalities were hyphenated, but now they are written as an open compound. But it's you'll still see them hyphenated, but they should be an open compound. And another example is Angela did a run-through. Here's an example of a hyphenated compound noun. Angela did a run-through of the new computer system. And the third example is showing a closed compound. The job listing is for a school teacher. So here we have all three, an open, hyphenated, and closed compound noun. So let's move on to verbs, compound verb. Many compound verbs are hyphenated or closed. So here's an example of a hyphenated one. The thief strong-armed my purse from me. Another example is she proofread the third draft of the book. So compound verbs, and they're generally hyphenated or closed. So compound adjectives, here's some examples. I'm going to say see rule number 46 and 47 for further guidance on compound adjectives. That's basically the rest of this video. So here's an example of a hyphenated compound adjective. She invented a time-saving gadget. And an example of an open compound adjective is my retirement funds are in a money market account. So like I said, for the compound adjective, we're now going to discuss basically compound adjectives for the rest of the video. So rule number 46 is if the words before a noun, usually adjectives modify nouns, right? If the words before a noun work as a unit, work together as a unit to express a single idea, they form a compound adjective. Consult a dictionary to determine if the compound adjective is open, hyphenated, or closed. And then I go on to give a compound adjective test, because we need to see, remember it says if the words work together to express a single idea, they form a compound adjective. So how do we know when the words are working together when they're working together to form a unit to express a single idea? Well, what you do, I just said that, if they work together as a unit, check the words jointly and separately with the noun. use these two tests. So, does each word by itself sensibly modify the noun? The second test is, do the joined words form a single idea and sensibly not modify the noun? So basically, we're going to test the words separately and jointly with the noun to see if they form a compound adjective. So if this doesn't make sense, once again, I always say, let's look at the examples, go over the examples, reread the rule. It'll probably be clear. So let's try this out. So our first example is, you have this situation. I live on the 8th floor in a 10-story building. So here we have, you're wondering if 10-story should be, is this a compound adjective? And then you could say, is it hyphenated? Is it open? Is it hyphenated? Is it closed? So, but our main thing is to say, is 10-story forming a compound adjective? Well, we're going to test them separately. Do the words modify, separately? This is how you test them separately. Is it a 10 building? Because remember I said you test the word separately with the noun. So is it here's the word 10. We're going to use it with, we're going to join it together with building because this is the noun. So 10, is it a 10 building? No. Is it a story building? No. Now we test the words together. Is it a 10-story building? Do 10-story, does that? Yes, for 10-story, because it expresses a single idea and modifies the noun. So basically, when you join the words 10-story together, they modify building. 10-story expresses a single idea, which is modifying building. So yes. So since they're not modifying it separately, if they modify them together, then we have a compound adjective. So the conclusion is, or I'm just going to restate that, they do not modify them separately, they modify them together. That's the test for, remember, if they work together as a unit and express a single idea, it's a compound adjective. So we just show they don't modify them separately, and we did test them, they modify them together. So it does form a compound adjective. And if you look in the dictionary, it says it's hyphenated. So this would be, I live on the 8th floor in a 10-story hyphenated building. Let's do another example. The report covers the side effects of secondhand smoke. Now, a secondhand, is this a compound adjective modifying smoke? So remember, we're going to test them separately. We're going to test them together to see if they form a compound noun. So basically, it is a compound noun if we can answer no to separately and yes to together. Let's try it out. Do the words modify separately? No for second smoke. This doesn't make sense. Second smoke. And no for hand smoke. So the words don't modify smoke. So these two words do not separately modify the word smoke. But they do together. Do the words, whoops, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but do the words modify together? Yes, second hand, these two words together, they express a single idea. They're working together as a unit, expressing a single idea to modify the noun. So they don't modify separately, but they modify together. Since they modify together, then we know they're forming a compound adjective. So conclusion, compound adjective. When we check the dictionary, it says it's a closed adjective. So it would be, the report covers the effects of secondhand, all one word, smoke. So that is it for rule number, and one more sidebar on this rule. When compound adjectives are long, or compound adjectives that are long, or there could be misread, are enclosed in quotation marks. So if you are, so his head did a slow, you can't make me do it shake. This, believe it or not, this is all a compound adjective modifying shake. You can't make me do it. So when you have when the compound adjective is long, and no one has ever defined what long is. Is long 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or could be misread. You enclose it in quotation marks. So when you see this, you can read this. He did this slow, you can't make me do it, shake. So you're actually enclosing this long compound adjective in quotation marks, because the alternative is this. I say compare slow, you can't make me do it, shake. This seems a little unyieldy to have this many words together hyphenated. It's a little hard to read. The top one is actually easier to read. So this is the reason why when it gets long, you do it, you put it in quotation marks. Another example, our conversation began with, how was your day stuff? So here, the compound adjective, how was your day, question mark, has been enclosed in quotation marks. This whole compound adjective here modifies stuff. Imagine the reason this one is enclosed in quotation marks, it's probably hard to read. I think it could be misread, especially with the question mark. Because compare, you'd say with how was your day stuff. This looks a little, compare looks, it's sort of hard to read. It's easier to read with a quotation mark. So just a note when you're, thing to keep in the back of your mind is when your compound adjective gets long or it could be misread, just enclose it in quotation marks. So let's move on to rule number 47, which says when a compound adjective is not listed in the dictionary, hyphenate it. So I basically say when you can't find it in the dictionary, hyphenate it, unless it's one of these 7 things. Now, believe it or not, you may say, geez, why don't I just memorize all the various situations? Well, believe it or not, there are a bunch of situations that you would have to memorize. That all I'm saying is that most of these are going to hyphenate it. If you go to the rules and look in, like the Chicago manual style has, probably pages, 10 pages of situations. Well, if you look at all of them, and you just say which ones do not hyphenate, there are these 7 basic situations. So, and just not the Chicago manual style. You can actually go into the other style manuals and you can see they don't cover all these situations, but some are better than others at covering all 7 situations. But these are the 7 situations. So basically, if you can't find the compound adjective in the dictionary, hyphenated, unless it's one of these 7 situations, and that is, it's an adverb, or it includes an adverb ending in ly, or it contains or it includes a proper noun, or it includes the adverb more, most, less, least, or very, or it includes a chemical term, or it includes a percentage, or includes a foreign phrase, or includes, the second element consists of a number or letter. So let's go over some examples of all 7 situations. So an adverb ending in ly. So Sophia is a highly valued employee. So here we have this compound adjective includes an adverb ending in ly. You do not hyphenate it. So you would not hyphenate this compound adjective. Another example is this a poorly written sentence? So it contains an adverb and then with ly in the compound adjective, so no hyphen. Moving on to other situations, a proper noun. The deal took a New York minute. Contains a proper noun, so you do not hyphenate it. The Supreme Court decision will be issued tomorrow, so once again, the compound adjective has a proper noun, so no hyphenization. Or it includes the adverbs more, most, less, least, or very. I cannot decide who is the more determined person. So since it contains this hyphenated, or this compound adjective contains the adverb more, we do not hyphenate it. Is punctuation the least interesting topic? Once again, The compound adjective contains least in this case, so it contains one of these adverbs, so you do not hyphenate it. A chemical term, a sodium chloride solution ruined my pants. I should say in all these situations, if I go back through them, is that the reason you don't hyphenate it, it's the philosophy is that the compound adjective is clear by itself. So if you think about, we went back to ly. They're saying any adverb ending in ly is understood by itself. It's clear. You don't need a hyphen because it's clear. It's already clearly written. And all these other ones are clear by themselves. So that's the reason, it's because it's a proper noun. It's clear. Since it contains these adverbs, basically these adverbs are clear by themselves. They don't need hyphenization. The chemical term is clear by itself. Therefore, it doesn't need hyphenization. So moving on, a percentage. Remember, sort of clear, the philosophy, clear by itself. So here we have a percentage, a compound adjective as a percentage. We do not do it. So the March 2020 stay-at-home order caused a 50% reduction in traffic. For where I live, once again, remember I'm a civil engineer, this was true. The 2020 stay-at-home order did cause a 50% reduction in traffic. A foreign phrase, just note, if the original foreign phrase contains hyphens, keep them. And see video 49, rule 59, for using italics with unfamiliar foreign phrases. So the one example I have is the couple save for the cost of in vitro fertilization. So here, this is a foreign phrase. We do not hyphenate it because it's a foreign phrase. But if the foreign phrase contained the hyphen, we would use the hyphen. Second element consists of a number or letter. And see video 59, rule 89 for numbered references. Here's an example. Liam wears a size 10 shoe. So here's a compound adjective that modifies shoe. We don't, since the second term is a number or letter. We do not hyphenate it. Another example is, did all Group B participants sign the waiver? Once again, the compound adjective, the second element is a letter, therefore we do not hyphenate it. So that's it for this video. If you want to get notifications for the series, please click subscribe. If you like the video, please hit like, and check out links to books and videos in the description.